Hello everyone, my name is Caroline, and today in The Sims 4 we are going to be building a home based on the board game Clue. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump into the speed build. So like I said in the intro, today we are building a house based on the board game Clue. So this is one of my favorite board games growing up. My family, I feel like we had multiple versions, but we specifically, or at least the one that I specifically remember, is the 1972 Clue board game. So throughout this, I plugged in pictures from those cards from that specific board game, and I tried to do each room kind of themed off of a specific person or suspect, weapon, and room from the board game, and a combination of each of those for each room. So we are going to be doing that today. It's going to be really fun. I was inspired by this build, one, because my brother-in-law randomly texted me, shout out Ryan, and told me that I should do this as a build. Also, I just got done with jury duty, so I was kind of in my true crime era. So I thought this would be fun. And so that's also why I've been gone for so long. So to my 44 subscribers, I'm very sorry. It's been like 2 months now. Things just got really crazy with the holidays, and then like I said, I got summoned and chosen for jury duty. So that was kind of crazy. I served over a week on jury duty. It was I won't go into the details really, even though I can, but I don't think that's what you're here for. But it was an attempted murder case, so it was pretty interesting, and it took up a lot of time and a lot of my mental capacity as well. Anyways, I'm back at it, and I'm hoping to get back into recording my videos for you all. I wanted to make this like a live build because that's what I, like I've said in the past, prefer to watch. But, you know, just based on time, speed build was just easier for me. So I hope you still enjoy it. I have these images in here that you'll notice, and those are actually AI generated images. I went to like Google Gemini and was like, hey, make me a house that looks like the house in Clue. And then I just gave it some additional prompts to come up with these AI generated images that were the inspiration for the exterior of this Clue home. So I thought about maybe doing like, I guess there's like an actual Clue home somewhere in like New Hampshire that the board game was based off of, but it was really, really big and also didn't really look like what I would think like the Clue mansion would look like. Like this is much creepier looking. The other one was like actually really pretty and like white and I don't know, just not what I had envisioned. Anyways, yeah, we're using these as the inspiration. Obviously, it's just an inspiration, so it's not exact, but we're just doing what we can. So that's why I went with this green exterior because I really liked that from the image. I messed around with the windows a lot, so apologies for kind of skipping ahead. But per usual, I had a really hard time deciding and pulled out like every single window. Again, you'll see that I mess with the windows a little bit more, but do eventually come to a decision. I did cut out a lot of the exterior portion of this video. I hope that's okay with you guys. I think I forgot to record this area where I did the pond and the boat. So that's the reason why that's not in the video. And then this video was just really long because I think it took me like 7 hours to build this, which is kind of crazy. It's not a very big build, but like I've said, I'm a perfectionist and I have a really hard time making decisions on things. And also, I just got a ton of new packs because of the 25-year anniversary sale. So I was also just really excited to look through all the new items. I had to cut out a lot because 7 hours is crazy. But anyways, just adding some like branches and vines up the house, some tombstones, forgot about what that word was for a second. And yeah, just trying to fill up the outside space. I wanted it to look a little bit dead and overgrown because maybe people haven't lived here in a really long time and it's just supposed to be creepy and old. So yeah, here we are just building up a staircase to the conservatory, which is just like a greenhouse. And then I decided to change this roof color because I just felt like it's a little too much green on green. I don't know. This is still technically a green roof, I think, but it just looked a little bit more balanced to me. So now we are moving inside. I really loved these doors with the stained glass. They felt old and eclectic and really liked them. So now we're moving into the kitchen, and this is what I was talking about earlier when I was referring to the cards from the Clue game. So this room specifically is inspired by Mrs. White. Of course, the weapon is the knife, so I tried to add as many knives as I could in this kitchen. And then I also wanted to try to pull inspiration from the room cards. So in this one, you see there's like a yellow background and there's a plate. So I do add like that plate decor in here later on. I try to add pops of yellow to just honor that background color. And then for Mrs. White, I just try to do a black and white because she's a maid and her outfit's black and white. Like, the old-timey maids, I guess, used to wear. I mess around with this kitchen so much, and I kind of do it throughout the build, so sorry about that. But I just couldn't decide. I was really trying to find like a black and white checkered floor because I was also looking at one of the board games as inspiration, and in the board game that I was looking at, the kitchen had a black and white tile floor. So that's the reason for me messing around with the black and white tile floor and then putting it on the walls. And later on, I actually do find the checkered floor that I was looking for. I think I was looking under tile and it's under like stone or marble or whatever. So anyways, I do end up changing that and I'm much happier with how it turned out in the end. But here I am just throwing a bunch of knives into this kitchen because that is the weapon that I assigned to this room. I changed these curtains again later on, but I did remember my trash can this time, so at least we have a win there. I always forget the trash can. Then here I am just kind of cluttering up a little bit, adding some kitchen items in here. Again, tried to keep them with like that white color scheme to go with Mrs. White. And yeah, I just thought that made sense also since she's like the maid, she'd probably be in the kitchen a lot. And then here I am adding those plates to, again, honor that plate in the card. So moving on to the dining room, here I assigned the candlestick. There's like more rooms and weapons, I think, than there are people. So that's the reason why there's not always 3 per room. With this one, I tried to do like a blue-ish color scheme, again, to just pay tribute to that blue color in the dining room card, and then just try to add like some elements that paid tribute to the doily. And I think the only thing that I did that really paid tribute to that is the rug, which you'll see later on. But again, just pulling out literally every candlestick known to man, like way too many. But it's kind of the point. You'll probably look at this and be like, that's way too many candlesticks. But that's the whole point, is to really lean into the theme of it being Clue, and that the weapon for this room is the candlestick. So here I am placing that rug that gave me doily vibes, I guess. I think that's what those are called, doilies. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I don't know why I know that, and hopefully that's what they're called. But anyways, I ended up switching it out for the other rug that's kind of like that. That's not so perfectly round because I just thought it fit a little bit better. Yeah, adding some wine glasses and stuff to the table. I just was picturing, in the movie, if you've seen the movie, they all kind of come to the mansion. They're probably coming and drinking wine and stuff. I don't know. Anyways, finishing up the staircase here, I decided to wall it off. And then that allows me some space to add. I end up putting barrels here, but I messed around with a bar for a little bit. I don't really know why I didn't keep that. I think I just felt like it didn't fit the wood color. I don't know. But yeah, just throwing in some like old pieces. I was really into these barrels for some reason. I don't know. It just felt kind of with the times, I guess. Around with the artwork quite a bit, but eventually got some of these older looking art pieces in here. And this is where I changed the curtains in the kitchen, one of many changes I will go back and make to this room later on. Yeah, it's always hard to slot those curtains for some reason, so I always have to move the window off to the side and then place the curtain and then move the window back. So now we're moving on to the hall. So in here, I'm pulling a rose because there's a rose in that hall card. I wanted to do an ornate looking rug. This rug isn't perfect for what was in the hall card. I'm sure I could have found one that matched a little bit better, but I don't know. This one just seemed to go with the color scheme and tie everything together from the kitchen and the dining room. So the rug, the rose, and then the lead pipe. So this is moving really fast, but you'll see that I placed some pipes on the wall, and that's what I used to pay tribute to the pipe, the lead pipe. I also tried to use a lot of metal elements in the hallway there, again, just to pay tribute to like the iron or lead pipe. So just tried to get creative with that because obviously there's not like blue weapons in this game. So moving on to the living room, this is Miss Scarlet in the lounge. So obviously red for Miss Scarlet. And I just tried to make it kind of sexy and mysterious, like I feel like Miss Scarlet is. And then the phone I placed on the coffee table because of the phone in the lounge card picture. So I thought that worked out really well. And then I tried to add like little pops of pink here and there since the lounge carpet has pink in the play card. So that's why you see little pops of pink. I probably could have added more pink, but I was just really leaning into the red for Miss Scarlet. So I'm just adding in little pieces that I feel like Miss Scarlet would have, like the nail polish and the perfume and the heels, things like that, adding in some more candles. I added in a lot of candles to this build, not just in the dining room, but everywhere, just to make it feel really vibey and old. I didn't end up having, I don't think, any like can lights or anything. I really tried to use like mood lighting and candlesticks and things like that. Added in this new jewelry box from the, what's it called? The Sanctuary something kit, and the record player over there. Now the conservatory was such a headache. Oh, there I am changing the floors. That's like the perfect floor in my opinion. But I messed around with this conservatory so much because about halfway through this, around this time, I forgot that I was trying to match the rooms to the colors on the room card. So I realized later on, like the purple and blue. And I don't think I really ended up, I tried to give it some like purple and blue tones and hints throughout, but it just looked really ugly when I was like leaning into the blue too much. It was just really hard for me for some reason to try to make that happen. So I just ended up making this more of like a green room. And yeah, like I said, try to add in pops of purple and blue. And I did add in a violin, which I don't think I show on camera, but there is a violin in here to pay tribute to the sheet music. I don't really know why the card has sheet music on it because this is like a garden area. So that was a little bit confusing to me, or maybe I'm misunderstanding what a conservatory is. But when I looked it up on Pinterest, it looked like a greenhouse. So you'll have to let me know if I'm like totally off base here. But then the weapon that I assigned to this room is a wrench, which we do have a wrench in debug. So you'll see me very briefly later on. I think I like come back to this room and throw a wrench in here because again I forgot about my plan. The only weapon I wasn't able to make work in this was a revolver. Obviously there's no like revolvers in The Sims for obvious reasons, so that was the only one that I couldn't do or find something that was kind of like it. So yeah, just skipped on that weapon. Now we are moving up into the study, and I assigned Colonel Mustard to this room. I thought it just worked because of his character, but also because the study had like a yellow rug and he's like, the color assigned to his character is yellow. That's why there's a yellow wall and like pops of yellow in the study. That's very intentional. So I ended up going with this rug. Nope. After I try 18 rugs, I ended up going with this one here because I just felt like it pulled in the greens and the yellows and the browns. It's not super old looking, but I still think it worked. But yeah, just cluttering this up a little bit more. I had a hard time with the curtains as well because I definitely wanted this to look like a little bit old, but a lot of the curtains that we have in the game that look kind of old are like also really ugly. No offense, but I definitely had a hard time with the curtains. So I ended up going with these ones. I think I use these ones quite a bit. Trying to figure out what to put in this corner. I didn't want to use any like new plants or like healthy looking thriving plants because to me this building has kind of been abandoned. So I had to add in this painting here because it definitely gave Colonel Mustard energy. But yeah, that's about gonna do it for the study. I just needed to add in some cracks and cobwebs and things of that nature in the room. I did that pretty much in all of the rooms just for some consistency. So now we are moving into the library. So I assigned Professor Plum to this room For obvious reasons, him being a professor, it made sense to put him in the library. And I did the weapon of a rope, and I wasn't quite sure how I was gonna do rope, so I added in these rope lights. It's like one of the only things that popped up when I searched rope. So they don't really go, but again, we're just trying to make the theme work. Oh, I just had to take a drink of water. A lot of talking. Anyways, I also end up adding that like rope looking rug as well, again, just to try to fit in some more of those like rope texture elements. I don't know. So that's what I'm doing right here. And then I also added in some of these pops of like, actually this like red color is probably a little bit more plum than like the wall color, but I wanted some of these like almost red pieces to fit the library card. That's why those are there, but also those just felt more plum. Adding in these lights, I was really happy that I was able to find all these pieces that had this like plummy red color that fit together really well. It was really hard to find art pieces that I hadn't used before, so you'll probably see a lot of repeat art pieces, and I'm sorry about that, but again, just trying to find ones that are like old looking. There are a lot of those in the game, a lot of really like older ornate looking pictures, but you'll see very soon in the billiard room I use a lot. So it was hard to find things that I hadn't used before. But just cluttering up with some more books. I just try to throw as many books as possible into this room since it's the library. I do end up deleting that door and messing around with the size of the other room a little bit. So this door right here next to the wall book goes away in a minute. Then here I am doing the bathroom. Nothing too crazy. And again, with these ones, with the bathrooms, there wasn't really a theme I was going off of per se, but I was just trying to match the rest of the house. So definitely used a lot of the vampire pieces, which is a new pack for me. Yeah, I bought like so many packs when they had just such a good sale. And then Life and Death really came in clutch for this one. I specifically bought that pack to do this build, but also ended up being on sale for the first time. So it kind of worked out. Yeah, here we are just changing these up to blue. I don't know, I just thought it looked a little bit better. Here again, just doing the hallway upstairs to match the rest of the build. I don't think I've ever used this little like butler table thing before, but I randomly stumbled upon it once in another build that I did. And I was like, I had no idea that existed. I think it's kind of hidden. Here we are moving into the billiard room. Obviously, we don't have a pool table in The Sims, but we do have a ping pong table. And so that felt sufficient. So I did go ahead and throw that in here. I saw a picture on Pinterest that kind of inspired this room, and it had just a ton of like pictures all over the wall. So you'll see me in a minute do that, and it took me forever. So I had to speed it up extra high, make it go a little bit faster, because I was like, no one wants to watch me put pictures up for like 4 minutes, even in speed mode. So that's what I'm doing here. Again, just trying to find as many different pictures as possible. The person I assigned to this room obviously is Mr. Green, because a billiard table, a pool table is typically green. So that's why the walls are green and the seats are green. And those seats really give like pool table green, if you know what I mean. Like that's like the perfect color. Yeah, I just thought a bar would make sense to be in here. Just changing out these lights for something a little bit more like rustic looking, I guess, and a little bit moodier. Went with my favorite light there that just, it's not even that the design of that light is my favorite, it's just the lighting it gives off is so good. So anyways, we're moving upstairs, and this is the room for Miss Peacock, and it's the ballroom. I don't know much about Mrs. Peacock. She's an interesting looking person. I just mean that in that I can't really get a sense on what her vibe is. I didn't do a ton of research on the characters and like what they were about, but really just more so going off like the colors and what their names are. The ballroom is obviously like a place for music and dancing. So there's a dance floor, there's a piano. I added in a lot of pops of blue. I liked this wallpaper because I think it has birds on it. So like anything bird related I tried to put in here since her name's Miss Peacock. The wallpaper, there's like that bird cage on the table. There's that rug, isn't bird related, but it looks kind of feathery. Any kind of images that had a bird on it I threw in here. So I was just really trying to like lean into that while also making it look a little bit older, but also leaning into the music aspect of this room, and lots of blue tones in here as well. So we also throw in a jewelry box, which I think I put down earlier next to that bird cage because of the broken pearls on the ballroom floor. So that's why I added the jewelry box in. And now we're moving on to the upstairs bathroom. And this one I also just kind of tried to match the Peacock room actually, because then I saw this swan bathtub and I was like, well, we have to use that. So this is kind of an extension of Mrs. Peacock's room. I wish I had that sink that's like actually a peacock, but I don't have that pack, whichever one it is. So there was that peacock painting, but it just didn't really match the vibe of the bathroom, so I ended up deleting that. This is definitely my favorite bathroom of the three. I didn't show me doing the very first bathroom down on the first floor just because, again, the video is really long, so I cut that out, but you'll see it in the walkthrough. But yeah, this one's definitely my favorite. And now we're moving on to the final room, which is the bedroom. And again, this isn't really based off of anyone or anything, just fitting the vibe of the rest of the house and just adding this in because you can't really have a house without at least one bedroom, right? So that's why I wanted to add a bedroom, and I actually love this bedroom. This might be like one of my favorite rooms, even though it's not associated with a specific item or person from the game, but I just really like the colors in here. I used a lot of the new Secret Sanctuary kit for this one, but yeah, I would gladly live in this room. Maybe not in this house. This house is a little creepy. I found this grandfather clock and I was like, we have to put this clock in this house. Like, it's perfect. So I went ahead and added that down into the library. Okay, here we are doing the live walkthrough. This is the exterior of the home and it's a little bit hard to see at nighttime. So we are just gonna do it during the day, but it is cool to see at night with all the lights on and stuff. Okay, and here we are entering the home. And this is going to be the candlestick dining room. Like I said before, there's definitely a lot of candles in here, but I actually think it's balanced quite well and it's not too much. And then this is going to be the Mrs. White kitchen with the knife. So we have some knives there and over there. And then moving on over here, we have the hall. Oh, that mailbox. I put a mailbox out front and it's not registering it as a mailbox. So maybe I'm Delulu and it's not really a mailbox, but just ignore that. They're like making sure you get your bills, you know, they are not going to let that slide. This is the hall and with the lead pipe. I was trying to remember what the weapon was that we gave this. So the lead pipe, I used that there and then I put some additional pipes over there. And then if we go into the bathroom, this is the one that you all did not see me build, but here you go. This is it. And then we're gonna go over into Miss Scarlet's room, which definitely feels like Miss Scarlet. I really like this room. I wasn't sure, I was like, this is kind of a lot of red, but I actually think it looks really good. I did go in and kind of change the lighting, like you can tell that those candles there are kind of red tinted, and I did do that on purpose. I did that up there as well. So that's Miss Scarlet's room. We have our upstairs hallway area with our little butler guy and the ladder that goes up to the top. So let's go ahead and move into the study. So this is Colonel Mustard's study, and I don't think there was a weapon assigned to this room, but this is what this one looks like. Okay, and then moving into this bathroom here, nothing too crazy. And then this is Professor Plum's library. I love this. I love like the purple tinted lights. This looks really, really cool, I'm not gonna lie. So this might be one of my favorites, to be honest. We have our chess table over here, which felt fitting for a library. Can't really seem to get my viewpoint quite right. And the grandfather clock. And then if we go through this area, we have the billiard room, which is very busy, but I think it works. I think the subdued lighting makes it a little less intense. I love how giant these pictures are right here. That's awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and move on upstairs to the ballroom and the bedroom. Okay, so moving into the ballroom, we have Mrs. Peacock. So we have a few different musical instruments. Like I said, a lot of bird items, a lot of music musical items. Here we have our dance floor area. So yeah, I think this one turned out pretty good. It's not my favorite. And let's go into the bathroom up here. Oh, excuse me. I did not know she was in here. That's just some random sim I moved in here. But this is going to be the bathroom that goes along with Miss Peacock's room. And then last but not least, we have our bedroom up here, which I really love this room as well. I'm really happy with how this build turned out. I think it's a really fun idea. So again, thanks to Ryan for suggesting this video. And then actually I'm gonna show you guys the outside area as well. Okay, so this is the outdoor area. I just wanted to show you guys, since you didn't see me build like this pond. I purposefully put the boat kind of in the water because again, I just thought that looked a little like rustic and abandoned. See, there's that mailbox that I put down. Does that not count as a mailbox? Like, I'm very confused. But yeah, here's the outside, and let's go ahead and move around to the backyard. Okay, here we have our backyard area with the entrance to the conservatory. Put a little bird bath out here. I love that giant tree. And of course we have our wishing well that's like a creepy old abandoned house staple. I feel like try to add a bunch of like overgrown grass. And then we have this really creepy like vampires swing set. I don't know if it's from vampires, I'm just assuming. And then we have our little graveyard area, and that's about it. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.